The Oklahoma City Thunder took a commanding 2-0 lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves here in the Western Conference Finals in a 118-103 victory. And a lot of NBA fans are probably right now asking themselves, what is it going to take for the Minnesota Timberwolves to potentially just win a game, not to mention 4 out of the next 5 games? Because Minnesota, they've got a lot of work to do. So we're going to talk about all that today. Before we do that, as always, I want to hear from y'all. Join the discussion. Jump in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you guys are new to the channel, because it's the playoffs, sure, a lot of you guys are popping in for the first time. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us grow, and it continues to push us out there in the algorithm. But, of course, today we got to talk about this game, right? A 118-103 victory for Oklahoma City. And I'm not going to lie, I thought the series would be a lot closer than it has been. I thought the games would be played a lot more tightly contested. I actually thought Oklahoma City would win both games at home, but I thought they'd be like, 7 to 5 point spreads, not, 10+ point spreads like what we've been able to see. And quite honestly, this has been a great playoffs for me. So for those who know me, I'm a New York Knicks fan. I was a Knicks fan before the Thunder came to Oklahoma City. And, I just naturally have adopted the Thunder because they're the local team right down the road. And, you want to be able to watch NBA. You want to be able to support a local team. And so for me, I've been able to watch Oklahoma City and, this great team that we've had, reminding me back to the days of, the 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012 seasons when Oklahoma City was really fun to watch in those early years. Then not to mention, I get to watch Jalen Brunson out at New York in the Eastern Conference Finals. Like, as a New York Knicks fan and a Thunder fan, I don't think you can have it any better. But then I really like Anthony Edwards. And I really like Anthony Edwards because I think he's a really relatable player, because he has a little bit of immaturity to him that I think a lot of normal people would have in these situations. He doesn't act like a normal superstar. A lot of superstars, they come in, it's business. Sometimes they don't show a ton of emotion. Sometimes you see some emotion. But Anthony Edwards is a fully emotional roller coaster. And he's just out there having fun. He's balling. He's young. And for a lot of people, I think my age specifically, you can relate to Anthony Edwards. Because if you were in these shoes in college or in high school, and you were this good and you were this great, this is probably what you would be doing, right? You'd probably be out there acting a little crazy. But that's who Anthony Edwards is. And I think he relates a lot. And I really like his game. And I think, if he ended up being the face of the league here in a couple of years, I don't think anybody in the NBA is going to have a problem with that, because Anthony Edwards is super fun to watch. And that's why I thought the series was going to be super interesting. I thought this would be a classic series when we were going back and looking at it in the history books. And I did not think that, the spread was going to be as big as it was over the first 2 games. But one thing that we've seen is, obviously, Oklahoma City defensively is willing to pack the paint and dare Minnesota to take these corner threes, or just take any three-point shot in general, daring you to beat them in that game, right? Oklahoma City wants to be able to pack the paint and be able to send a guy like Lou Dort or J-Dub or Cason Wallace, SGA, Caruso, whoever, out to those three-point shooters to try to close out and maybe get you to miss. While Minnesota, on the other hand, is running a zone defense, right? So we got polar opposites of what's going on here for Oklahoma City and Minnesota. And Oklahoma City, because Denver ran the zone defense, I think has figured out how to play against it. And that is why you are seeing them have so much success. And that's not necessarily something I personally took into consideration when this series would have started. But right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves are staring down the barrel of, not only maybe losing this in 5 games, but potentially getting swept. I think now this could be a realistic conversation, because the way Oklahoma City's been playing, now potentially having the opportunity to go to Minnesota and steal game 3 at the Timberwolves' home, going up 3-0 can be absolutely detrimental. Now, a lot of this is going to be due to Anthony Edwards' ankle. It's just not right. And we saw that at the beginning of the playoffs. You saw it in the second round. This ankle for him has been an issue. So for Anthony Edwards, like, when he gets to the offseason, whether that means he beats the Thunder and advances to the NBA Finals or whatever that looks like, loses in the Western Conference Finals, he needs to probably call Steph Curry and ask, hey, how have you taken care of your ankle over this years? Because Steph Curry hasn't had the best ankles either over his entire career in the NBA. But ultimately, you look at this game, and for Oklahoma City, I didn't feel like you got the best showing from some of your bench players that you would normally get, right? So for Oklahoma City, your superstars showed up. SGA went out there, was a plus 25, had 38 points on 12 of 21 shooting, 13 of 15 from the line. He had 8 assists, 3 rebounds. He had 3 steals, only 1 turnover. You had Lou Dort out there, 9 points, but he was a plus 29 because he had 2 steals, 4 assists, 8 rebounds. You saw Jalen Williams, 26 points, 12 of 20. Chet Holmgren, 8 of 17 for 22 points. When you see Oklahoma's big three all getting 20 or more points in a game, I would almost guarantee every single time it's probably going to be an Oklahoma City win. That's going to be pretty hard for any team to be able to overcome. But then you kind of look at the bench, right? Cason Wallace only had 8 points. Alex Caruso only had 9. That's it. None of the other bench players actually went out there and scored any points. So for Minnesota to know that you had a prime opportunity with Oklahoma City's bench not playing their best game at home, where role players normally play their best, and you still lose by 15, that's got to be detrimental, because going back to Minnesota, not only do you need Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle to step up in the biggest ways, but you need Naz Reid to step up at home, being a role player, right? Being a guy that has killed Oklahoma City in the regular season. You need him to step up. Same thing for a Jaden Daniels, who today had 22 points on 8 of 15 shooting. So not a terrible night. You need Jaden Daniels to go out there and continue that success behind another Anthony Edwards 30-point game. And you need Julius Randle to go out there and grab you 20 points. And you need a Dante DiVincenzo to maybe go out there and hit you 4 to 5 3-pointers in that game, where he played 22 minutes and only was 2 of 6 from 3, 3 of 8 from the field with 8 points, and he was a minus 27. So for Minnesota, I think there's a lot of adjustments that have to be made. You look at the defensive strategy. Oklahoma City has the zone defense figured out. You cannot be putting Jaden Daniels at the top of the key with SGA for him to just blow by him every single time. You cannot continue to play zone defense, because what it's allowing is it's allowing you to get out of position and for Oklahoma City to be able to get these offensive rebounds. Then you look at the offensive side of the ball. Anthony Edwards is going to need help because, again, that ankle is going to be a problem. You've seen it. I was actually texting Jay during the game, and one of the things Jay pointed out was you've seen the ankle thing be an issue for Anthony Edwards' explosiveness, even in the game that was tonight. So if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, you really need a game like you had in game 1 from Julius Randle. Like, no doubt in my mind, if Minnesota has that game from Julius Randle with the game that they just had from Anthony Edwards in game 1, in game 2, this could probably be a 2 to 3 point win for Oklahoma City, or even a win for Minnesota. It probably swings that much. And I think they can potentially fix that going back to Minnesota. But for Minnesota, like, this is definitely, as of right now, not an ideal matchup for you. I feel like Oklahoma City's completely taken away Rudy Gobert because, he can't stretch the floor with you. And Oklahoma City is willing to take a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein out, but you have to really make the tough decision if you're going to take Rudy Gobert out of the game, because Oklahoma City still has a 7-footer in Chet Holmgren that can play in a small ball lineup, and Naz Reid doesn't feel like he's up to the task of defending Chet, especially in the paint. So you look at this game, Oklahoma City played a phenomenal game from a turnovers perspective, right? They got Minnesota to commit 14 turnovers. Oklahoma City got only turned over 8 times. Oklahoma City won the rebounding battle by 142-41, but Oklahoma City shot 50% from the field, but only 27% from three. This is where Minnesota has to take advantage of Oklahoma City's faults. Oklahoma City has not shot the ball well in the playoffs from three. They haven't. They've had good games, but they overall have not consistently shot the ball well. They need to go out there and take advantage of that and force Oklahoma City to shoot more threes. Exactly what Oklahoma City's doing to you, you need to basically in reverse do to them. And you know what? If they beat you with Oklahoma City not shooting well from three all playoffs long, then so be it. But you're going back to Minnesota. Your role players are going to go play better. Oklahoma City's role players might not play as well, and I think that would be a perfect strategy for Minnesota. But as for Oklahoma City, dude, just keep doing what you're doing, right? SGA right now, he's having himself a series. He obviously feels like he has the Minnesota Timberwolves figured out, feels like he has this zone defense figured out, and he is getting to the line. He's, getting really efficient shots, and it's just really fun to watch. Like, this is a really fun team to watch, and I think we're all going to go back and look at it. I think everybody hated that Warriors team. I think it was in 2016, 2017. But we all look back now and say, as much as we hated those Warriors teams were a lot of fun. And we kind of wish we had them today. I think we're going to go back in history. We're going to look at this Oklahoma City Thunder team just like those. Man, what a lot of fun they were to watch. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time.